got a review today. Today I'm going to talk about The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan. This is book number 2 in the Wheel of Time series. If you're looking for a review for book number 1, I will link that up above. Yes, and that is called The Eye of the World. But this one is about book number 2, The Great Hunt. I will try to be as spoiler-free for both books as possible, but it is very possible I will spoil some minor things for the first book because this is the second book. All right, so The Great Hunt. The main plot of this one is basically there is this horn called the Horn of Valier. It is a legendary horn where if you blow it, then the armies, like the heroes of the dead, will come and ride with you and will fight for your cause. And it is obviously a magical item that has been lost for centuries, I believe, a very long time. So it has been found and stolen by bad guys, and so the plot of this book is to get it back. Yes. So the plot. I enjoyed this plot a lot more than the first book. The first book I wasn't super wild about the plot, and I think it's because there is a concrete mission this time. In the first one, a lot of the plot was just run away from danger, oh no. But for this one, there is an actual mission in mind. Like, okay, these bad guys have this, we're gonna chase after them. And, you know, as difficulties and everything come up, it doesn't matter, because there's a definite goal in mind. It's not like, oh no, there are bad guys here, so we're gonna run over here now. It's, okay, there are bad guys over here, they're not the ones with the horn, we're chasing them, so we're gonna figure out a way to avoid these guys while still going for this. So I personally really enjoyed that. There was a subplot with some of the other characters that was very interesting because it helped us learn more about different cultures and different perspectives. But yes, all in all, I thought that the plot was very interesting. I was much more captivated by the story itself in this book than I was in the first one. All right, the world building continues to be excellent. Oh my goodness. So while it's very evident that there are certain aspects of the world building that are influenced by Lord of the Rings and other predecessors, Jordan is definitely exploring cultures in a way, especially for back when this was written, that were much newer and very fascinating. I've heard that it continues to grow as the series grows, and that is definitely shown in book 2 compared to book 1. The world building is excellent. I am fascinated and interested in a lot of the cultures already. We only got to explore a few new cultures, but they are very fleshed out, very interesting. They have their own etiquette, they have their own sort of way of expressing their beliefs, and it's all very interesting. They even have different ways for how they treat the people who can do magic. I mentioned in the previous review, but I'll go ahead and say it again, that what we know is regarding magic with suspicion. And so we get to see how different people treat it, like how some people respect it and revere it, how some people do other things with it. Like, it's just very fascinating. It's very interesting. I'm very much enjoying the world building of these books. And then last but not least are the characters. So this might be where it gets a little bit spoilery, because you'll find out who survived book one. So Rand is our main character for the most part, and he is definitely more developed and more fleshed out in this book than in the first one. I really appreciated that. There were definitely times that I just wanted to smack him upside the head, because at the end of the day, he is a young man, and there are certain things that that he does that are very frustrating, because he's inexperienced, he's a little bit foolish at times, and it's very frustrating. But he does develop and grow confidence in who he is in this book, and I appreciated that. Then there is Matt, his mischievous best friend, who was a jerk for a good portion of it, but I would still say that he is a well-defined character. I think he's my least favorite character at this point, but that's just him. Perrin is Rand's other best friend. He is also sort of finding himself in these books. He was a blacksmith's apprentice. He's found out that just what he's capable of. He is also kind of growing in confidence and learning how useful he can be. One thing that he often does is he compares himself to Rand, and he's like, oh man, Rand would know what to do in this situation. I have no idea what I'm doing. What would Rand do? And so it kind of shows a lack of confidence and his anxiety, and I really appreciate that, because I definitely have a past of both of those, and so I find him very relatable. Nynaeve is another character that was introduced. She, in the previous book, she was kind of the mom friend. She literally came on this adventure to make sure all of her friends were safe. So she's developing past that in this book. She still has that motivation. She still is very much someone who is dedicated to the people she loves, and she is definitely someone who tries to protect them at all times, at all costs. And that shows in this one, in that she's going on this entire journey and doing all this stuff just to help protect other people. And at the same time, she's growing and learning about herself. And I appreciate how a lot of her wants and her needs are more centered on her in this book. Egwene is also a interesting character. She is learning that she has kind of she's more powerful in herself than she realized, and she goes through some interesting and traumatic experiences in this one that I think I am interested to see the ramifications of. Unfortunately, the book ended before we got to see it more seriously, but even the immediate effects showed her as a very different side of her, and I'm really excited to see how she grows. So, yep, and then there are a few characters that were kind of more main characters in the background of the first book that dropped to the background, and a few characters that were extremely minor in the first book that kind of were brought to the forefront. And that was kind of neat to see, because you get a glimpse of certain characters and it's like, oh hey, you're back, and they become more fleshed out and more developed, and that was very fun and interesting as well. The characters and the world building are definitely my favorite parts of this story, but the plot was so much stronger this time and was so much more fun to go through in this book than compared to the first, and just on its own. It was just a lot of fun. So yeah, that is my general thoughts about the book. I will say that I understood, especially towards the beginning, there are a few things that Robert Jordan is known for in these books. One is going into a ridiculous amount of detail when describing things. So far, that has not bothered me. But another is kind of re-establishing and rehashing things that you already know. And this is only book 2, so obviously it wasn't too bad, but I definitely saw it happening. Like, okay, I know these things already. I appreciate you doing this because honestly, I have a terrible memory, and it is nice when authors do that sometimes, but I can see how that could get annoying in 14 books. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this book. Out of the 2 books I've read so far in the series, it's my favorite. And I'm really looking forward to going on to book 3. I hope this review was helpful to you, and yeah, I will see you around.